tradition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say is even harder to find.
All right, guys, welcome. It kind of looks like a low energy podcast today, but
we're hyped.
All right, we'll see how it goes. So welcome to season 2, episode 28 of All Things Real Estate.
This is 28?
Oh my God.
Episode 28.
Season 3 incoming.
Yeah, season 3 coming in about a month or so. And yeah, I mean, we continuously crank out at least 3 of these a month. On a consistent basis, and I think that we're getting some really good traction. I know Ben's being stopped at bars now, and being called out for being on the podcast. But in all seriousness, it's great that we can sit here and have a place where we can come and share just kind of the ins and outs and the truth about real estate, right? Obviously we don't hold back on what we say, and I think we give very fair and honest opinions of all sides. So let's keep it going. Yep. I'm looking forward to 2023. We got some
2024.
Dang, I'm just out. Maybe I'm the one with low energy today. It was that burrito I had for lunch. But so 2024, we got some cool stuff. We're going to rework the podcast a little bit, and excited to keep evolving and changing, just like our market does. So I'm not even going to go right into stats today. I think we've educated the people about what's going on in our marketplace, and I don't see any significant changes there. I am going to talk about something, low-income housing. There's actually an opportunity right now in Los Gatos. There's a nonprofit called House Keys, and they own properties kind of all over the Bay Area. Bersano Lane, which is just right down the street from us, they have a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath condo that they are offering for roughly $335,000. So just to educate everybody quickly on House Keys, and then the HOA is about $309 a month. So for Los Gatos, it's basically a lottery, right? So you have to go through kind of a home buyer education. You have to qualify financially. They're looking at 80% of the median income for the area. So for instance, if you're 2 people in the household, you're capped. Total combined income can't be more than about $110,000 a month, $110,000 a year. And for 3 people, it's about $124,000 a year. So, definitely tight on the income limits, but gives you the opportunity to purchase a condo that you own, and you get the tax benefit and all that good stuff for about $335,000.
Do you have to apply? Do you have to apply for this and compete against?
Yep, it's a lottery, so you got to apply. Now, the good thing is, if you are a Los Gatos resident, you'll get first priority. So House Keys is a company I'm very familiar with, worked with them for many, many years. The only downside to this is when you go to sell the condo, you have to sell it back at the affordable price. So essentially, you own, but you don't get the benefit of appreciation.
Is this a specified timeline of how long you have to own it, like other programs? I know some are like you have to own it for 40 years.
No. There's no, as far as I know, there's no timeline, like a minimum or a maximum that you that you can own it.
Isn't there a certain time limit after which it gets out of the program? Like, there's some that I.
Yeah, every program's a little different. This one, when you sell, you are committing to selling it back at below market value. Okay. So you don't get the benefit of appreciation, which is rough, right? Because in our market, obviously appreciation creates wealth for a lot of people. But it does give you the tax benefit of ownership. It gives you the peace of mind that as long as you continue to pay your mortgage, your landlord can't come kick you out or anything like that. And then also you're paying down on principal, right? Just like on a traditional amortized loan. So you will, instead of just paying rent to a landlord where you get no benefit, here you're paying down the principal. So you will have some net equity when you go when it does come time to sell.
Nice. That helps.
I was going to ask you what the benefit was, and then you just went through it all.
Well, there you go.
I think the keys there is that you own it. You can't get kicked out.
Well, it gives the family an opportunity.
Down. Yeah, you're paying it down. You still get, I imagine, like some sort of appreciation.
It's very, very minimal.
Like 1%.
I truly believe this is strictly for the families to have an opportunity just to get into that Los Gatos school district, to get into a city of,
What does a lottery? I mean, I know what it means, but like, how do they? Is it just a?
There's just a number of applicants, and then they pick
Pick a
one.
number out of the
So
hat.
it doesn't matter.
So
your name,
usual assistant programs like that. They had a couple in Campbell. I remember we were on that Zillow program. We get the calls for them. It's like an 8-week process where they take groups of 15 to 20 every weekend who apply for it. Like you said, in the city, first priority, go to school, first priority, work in the city, priority. And then after that 8 weeks, they just choose.
Yeah, this one has a deadline of December 12th. So for those kind of watching or viewing the podcast, if you are interested, reach out to one of us. We can walk you through the process. You don't have a lot of time.
Well, would you rather buy something like that or a mobile home, which could be in that comparable range?
I would buy the condo.
Why?
I think it's a lifestyle choice. This way, you're able to basically get in with nothing down or very minimal down. Mobile home or manufactured home, you still need at least 10% down. And you have to be qualified by the park. And typically, as Ben knows, because he's been through this with a client, you have to make 3 times the space rent income to qualify, plus your mortgage and everything else. So that may push a lot of people that would have qualified for the house keys home out of contention for a manufactured
Not
home.
to mention,
Yeah.
a space rent at a mobile home is almost $1,000,
Well,
if not more.
more.
You know how
More,
they
yeah.
every time that home sells, a mobile home sells, space rent increases. So
Sure.
if you have a mobile home that's sold 5 times in the last 20 years, your space rent is going to be like $1,000 more than any other
Owning a
mobile
mobile
home.
home park is so like desirable. It's
Yeah,
like a car
it-
wash. It's just
Yeah,
a
it's like cash cow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not the prettiest things to look at, but great
It
investment.
works for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it
investment.
works for like the
Works for a lot
retired
of
people, though. But like if you get a retired couple who are only making Social Security and they got to go in and get approved 4 times space
I think
rent.
it's different. I mean, each park is different, right? But
Yeah.
the one on Falmeden where we sold 55 and older, I don't think it was 3 times.
Yeah, I think the parks vary, but in general, it's usually 3 times the space rent.
Yeah. There's an active property on the market right now. I know some of us have seen it on the internet and some of it's popping up on Instagram. It's a 5.5 acre island right in the Bay Area.
San Francisco.
Listed for $25 million. Did a little research on it. What I found very interesting, well, one, it was bought in 1960 for $50,000.
So good investment.
Great investment. They tried to sell it in 2015 off market for $5 million. And now they relisted it.
So they couldn't get $5 million, so now they're going to say that we priced it too low.
So they're
No,
going 25, and the
25
money is going to be used to assist with the owner's mom. So hopefully the mom is in a phenomenal care facility, and this is the second island.
Just drop her off on the island.
This is the second island that's listed now in the Bay Area. The first one is still listed by Keller Williams agent, actually out of Solano, for $75 million.
Where's that at?
In Solano?
Okay,
Yeah,
Solano.
I know.
Solano Beach?
yeah.
Because what I thought I read about that article was that is the only private island in San Francisco Bay, right?
Yeah. Isn't that, I mean, what would you do with an island? So this island, $25 million one, it's got the 2 beaches on the side, some rock, but it's all rock in the middle. Like, what are you doing with an island if you buy
gotta-
that island?
You just get to say you own an island.
Early in the 19th century, they used it to mine manganese, which is like the red. Like, what are you doing with that? What are we?
I mean, if you have $25 million to buy an island, I'm sure you got $25 million to build a house or a
Just right in the middle of it.
Yeah, or whatever.
chop
right?
the rock up and
You're not
into
the
a
best
business.
view in town.
yeah, you can do it.
Crazy.
You have a
Private
buyer?
beaches.
No, I don't.
Cheat has a buyer. Cheat's got a buyer for everything.
I'm just waiting for their response.
Cheat, you've had a lot of transactions.
Yeah, you've had a great year,
What's
Cheat.
been going on?
Nothing.
So remind the audience, Jeet, how long you've had your license, how long you've been with your team, with our team, and roughly how many transactions will you have done this year?
Oh wow! So been with the team this is my 4th year in the business. Been with the team for a couple years now, and last year I did about 10 transactions, give or take, and then this year I would have done almost double.
Nice.
Good job, Jeet.
bud.
It's like the Pat McAfee show. Everyone starts clapping at the same time.
And what would you attribute that success? I mean, to go from 10 units to almost doubling that, which is a great year, whether you're a new agent or not. What do you attribute that success to, especially in a down year like this, when a lot of agents made a lot less money?
I think it's just follow up. Like I realized that I made a system that follow up, follow back, follow through. That means once I've met someone, I'm gonna follow up with them. If they respond or if they don't, I follow back, and then whatever I've promised, I follow through with it.
Ah.
And once I've gone through that system, I realized that I've built a strong enough connection where they feel like I have the value that I bring to the table, and they trust me, they know me, they like me, and they want to do business with me.
That's a great tip for real estate agents out there, because how many agents come in contact with people all day long, whether it's open houses or on the street or whatever, and how many times do agents not follow up, right, let alone follow back and then follow through? How many times have I heard, or I'm sure you guys too, where a consumer says, well, yeah, I reached out to this agent and never heard from him again, or even their old agent, like, oh yeah, he sold me a house 4 years ago, sent him an email, never heard back. Right. So, I mean, great tip, Jeet.
It's a big factor behind why I think so many agents are just falling off this year. They just don't have the repeat business or the referrals because
Yeah.
they've never kept in contact.
Or the
I think
systems
it's-
in place.
Yeah, I think it's also mindset at the end of the day. Like as Aaron mentioned, right? Like if you get down to that notion that yes, the market's down, not a lot of people are buying or selling, so I can have a down year, that kind of makes you go off track and not really do the things that you need to in order to succeed on a daily level, on a daily basis. So, and then the other day I was telling Aaron that I haven't had an off day in a while, and he's like, oh, I never have off days, and I'm like, that makes sense, because every day we are doing something or the other. We're talking to someone or the other, so we can have a half day here or there, but our schedule never really truly allows us to have a full off day.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. And because even if we're not communicating with clients or something, we're thinking about the transactions that we're in, right? So it's really hard to detach. I will say that having a team, though, and having the support of the team does take a lot of that stress off. I mean, I'm with you, whether we go, on a trip to Mexico, Hawaii, Tahoe, wherever, I mean, I'm still responding to text and things like that.
Exactly.
But for some of the more important things, I mean, we have support staff in place, and it's not only a benefit to us, but really a benefit to our clients,
Yep.
because our transactions continue to move at the speed that they do because of the support that we have in place.
Absolutely. And having Jessica, Heather, your guys' support, it really allows me to just do what I love, which is talking to clients, showing homes, going on appointments, writing offers, listing properties, and then all the other mundane tasks are pretty much on autopilot. So it allows us to pretty much
Nice.
operate at the
good
highest
stuff, man. Well,
level.
congratulations on your success this year, and
Thank you.
I'm sure it'll continue next year too.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed.
No.
I got a new topic here for us.
Oh,
Sponsored
Sponsored.
by IntroLend. IntroLend.
Why'd you
Your
make that face?
fast track to mortgages. All right.
we might need to rework that. Those facial expressions you were
Just
making.
making sure Marker that he's going to watch this.
I think
and
it
see
might scare off some of our audience.
Okay, so this segment is called Relate or Debate. I'm going to ask each of you a question. Give me your answer. Start with Aaron. Right up your alley. First-time homebuyers should prioritize potential resale value over personalization and customization of their home.
Say it again.
Unbelievable.
That's what I
First-time
said the
homebuyers?
first time you mentioned.
First-time homebuyers should prioritize potential resale value over personalization and customization of their home. Relate or debate.
I'll debate that.
I would debate it too. Make
Yeah.
your,
Good.
Make your
That's,
house.
that's the point.
Make your house your own.
Yeah.
What? I don't care what you do. Debate. That's the relate or debate.
Yeah, I would debate. I would debate that, because as a first-time home buyer, like Aaron said, I want to make the house my own. I'm not immediately worried about resale value down the road. You can always make changes to a house and prep it for sale. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking, does it fit my family and my lifestyle?
I mean, don't go crazy and add unpermitted bathrooms and weird things. But yeah,
Yeah.
you want a blue wall, go get a blue wall, or porcelain countertop that's pink. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you?
All right. Second question here.
Thank you
Jeet,
so much for that question.
this is a relate or debate question. It's for you to decide. Jeet, first-time homebuyer should prioritize a home with a desirable community, even if that means compromising on certain features of the home.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if community is defined as the location, neighborhood appeal, and everything, I think I relate to that. Debate it. Relate it. Wait, I'm confused. But basically,
Like most of Ben's questions.
This is a good question.
No,
The way you word them is a little hard.
Because
I think
you're
it's the
wording
word.
it.
Can you say that again?
Yes. First-time home buyers should prioritize a home with the community amenities, even if that means compromising on certain features of the home.
yeah,
So, yeah, agree or debate.
right. So I agree. I think location is more important than the type of home, but you should definitely have a good balance, right?
Like swimming pools and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Swimming, like, would you take a home with a
Sorry,
swimming pool
I
and a
didn't mean-
massive backyard
I
in
was-
Morgan Hill,
I was
or would
really
you
trying
be
to wrap
walking?
my head around this one.
Think of it in terms like this: would you rather have a big backyard and a pool and live in Morgan Hill, or have a smaller backyard and be walking distance to downtown Campbell?
Jeet would rather have
depends.
a better community with pools
I would say
and stuff.
closer to town, right? Walking distance to downtown would. I think that's a bigger.
I think they're saying, would you sacrifice certain things in your home in order to be part
Hell
of a
no.
better community?
That's what I asked.
I want a good house. I know
Alright.
you asked Jeet, but I didn't
No,
really
this is fine.
understand his answer.
yeah.
Well,
it's-
I mean, and I guess I would debate that, because if you look at where I bought, a lot of people may say, well, that's not an ideal community because of the schools feed into a whole different, the town next door or whatever. I could have bought something smaller in I won't say better community, but a community that maybe is more in a community traditional sense, but it's not what I wanted. So I got what I wanted, and I'm happy.
The game should be called Would You Rather, I think.
No, it's to
Because-
relate with it or debate it, bro. I need
Agree
the
or
game.
debate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right, Dave, for you.
It's a little tricky.
For you, Dave. Sellers should not address potential issues discovered during a home inspection and invest in their home before going live. Buyers should expect to handle the necessary repairs.
Bro, you need to give us the questions ahead of time
No,
so we can
they're
rewrite
not
them.
questions.
Oh.
They are statements. You're either agreeing with it or debating
Bro,
it.
I didn't go to the University of Oklahoma like you.
Oh my God. You obviously didn't take an English class either.
I
You can't
didn't.
understand what's going on
What high
here.
school did he go to?
You went to Prospect.
Okay, let me give you an easier question.
No, I understood your statement, but it's not a clear-cut thing, because most times we tell our sellers that, you know what, we're going to do all the inspections up front. We're going to make sure that we understand all the issues with the property. That way the buyer's educated and can make an offer based on the information they have. However, we also still tell those sellers on some of the major items, if you've got a busted sewer pipe that's leaking waste underneath the home, you probably want to fix that before you go on the market, right? Now, some of the smaller stuff, grout caulking that's missing, some dry rot on the eaves, just let the buyer deal with that, right? Or some patching up of the roof. But the health and safety stuff, I mean, we still tell the sellers that they should address that before putting the home on the market.
Yeah, it's just when a buyer's looking at inspection reports, you don't want to give them a laundry list of things to do as well, because that scares some people off. Although they may be all minor, you want to make sure it's minimal that they get to repair once they're moving in. That way, you can get more offers on the table.
Yeah, like if you listed a house with a 25-foot foundation crack, just, would you address that up front, or would you tell the buyers that they have to deal with it? How would you guys approach that if you were the listing agent and you saw that on an inspection report?
I think I would first speak to the seller and figure out how much money they're comfortable spending if they need to do an update. If the foundation crack was under that amount, I would say let's get it done, and I can guarantee it'll create more of popularity for the home. But if it's over that amount and you don't feel comfortable spending that, just note that you might not get as much as what you think your home is going to be valued for, because that buyer is going to have to take that responsibility on.
Yeah, I think buyers get pretty scared off with foundation issues. So if they're like minor to moderate foundation issues that you can take care of, and then put it on the market, saying that this has already been taken care of, I think that will net you a higher amount than not taking care of it.
Aaron, any thoughts?
I mean, foundation issues in this valley, I would say, are very tricky. I find that if you fix everything ahead of time, people are totally cool with it. The buyers are going to move forward and write a premier priced offer. Whereas if you didn't do it and maybe you're going to get a quote for it and do it down the road, they don't like that. They want to see it's been fixed.
Yeah, I definitely think two of the biggest red flags that concern or scare off buyers, foundation issues and moisture issues underneath the home. I think those are the two big things. I think anything outside of that can be overcome, whether with quotes from handyman contractors after the fact, that sort of thing. But those are the two things, and rightfully so. They should be concerned about those two things, right? I mean, obviously the house needs a stable foundation, and if there is water or moisture underneath the home, that can lead to adverse health effects and also affect, the integrity of the foundation and the subfloor and things like that.
Okay. Last one for the table.
Oh, more relate debate.
Washer and dryer should be in a garage, not a home.
Ugh, it's my least favorite thing.
I
would
think
never buy a house that didn't have a laundry room.
Inside.
Yeah.
that's what I was telling you. Like,
But
I think laundry
as long
rooms.
as you can
Wait,
put it
hold
somewhere.
on. So Jeet and Ben went over all this ahead of time?
we didn't go over
That's what I was telling
yeah,
you.
It sounds like this is
What do you
being
mean?
kind of
We didn't go over
scripted.
How do you know the question?
Yeah.
I just
She's
read
looking
them.
at my paper.
Exactly. No, we were
That doesn't
discussing-
sound. This is. We're both dads.
Yeah.
We know when they're lying.
Yeah.
So
Our kids are lying to us.
What are your thoughts? Laundry room or washer dryer inside the garage or inside the home?
Laundry room all day, every day. There's spiders in the garage, dude. Come on.
Spiders, and if you do have washer and dryer in your garage, you should epoxy the floor. It feels much cleaner to me.
Yeah.
I know it sounds stupid, but
And again, if my laundry room was in my garage, okay, fine. But if I had a choice, yeah, laundry room in the house all day long.
next week, Aaron's been sued for saying he would never buy a house with a laundry room in the garage.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah,
I mean, it's just a me
I
thing.
have a laundry room.
I would make sure I could put it in a.
Okay, what if it's not like a room and it's just the
No, it
washer
just
dryer,
has
like
to be
people throw
inside.
in the closet?
No, just
like,
that's
not,
fine.
you
That's
know.
totally fine.
Okay.
It just has to be inside.
Okay.
Can't be in the garage.
Ben, what do you think?
I was the garage person.
You
but
are
that's
still
just,
currently.
Well, that's because like growing up, when I was growing up, between like baseball and hockey and wrestling, like my clothes were either full of dirt or smelled like crap.
Wait,
so like
you do have indoor washer dryer.
well, now I do. But like growing up, it was easy for me to go in the garage, change, and throw it in there.
Yeah.
And then walk in the house.
That's
and
because
the
you
house
went to
would just-
Prospect.
Unbelievable. That's my thought. But the more I think if it was just a washer dryer, I want it in the garage. If it's a room, I'd rather have it in the house, but
Jacob?
not just a washer dryer. I
Jacob?
need space to like hang my clothes when they're out of the dry washer, and I don't want to hear it when I'm watching
We
TV.
got it. Jacob? We want Jacob's opinion.
Oh, which is good because having Jacob here actually
Hey.
segues to my next thing.
Hey, I have a laundry in my garage.
Do you like
I'm
that?
not too proud of it, but it's not.
And you
It's
have
not
a-
as bad as you would think.
You have a detached garage.
Because he's so right about
Being able to just throw.
when things are dirty. It's like all the dirty stuff is in there. But it is when it's cold out. It's the worst thing ever.
And raining.
Make sure it's
Yeah.
an attached garage.
He has a
I have a detached laundry room.
Wow.
It's a little annoying.
All right,
I'm out.
Okay, so actually, I wanted to wrap up this segment, and Jeet, if I can, like, maybe boot you out of your seat, or we can slide another chair in. It's all right. It's nothing to do with Jeet. I want to have Jacob sit down
Sure, come on over.
because, and are you sure Jacob can sit on your lap? I don't care.
Sit on his lap.
That's fine. However you guys want to work that out, and you're both consenting adults.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'll come in. This is probably.
Do you consent that he take your chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jeet can, whatever.
Okay, come
Stand
right
there.
here.
Check
Come,
the
come on in.
cameras, Jeet.
Yeah, check the cameras. Make sure.
Make sure the
Check.
sound.
Can you make sure the sound's good, Jeet?
Yeah, but
I'm just with you. It's
in
fine.
all seriousness.
Jacob,
We'll bleep
you
it.
are our editor.
Yeah, we can believe it.
That
That's fine.
costs us money.
All right, so for those of you guys watching don't know who Jacob is the guy that not only sets this up, records us, checks the sound, breaks it all down every week, but also does all of our editing, our clips, our timestamps. I mean, really the whole reason why we have consistency in our podcast is because of Jacob. So thank you for that.
Hey, well, you guys are the most consistent podcasters I know.
Hey, well, there we go.
That's hot.
There you
So,
go.
so the reason why I wanted you to sit down for the end of this podcast is because through the last 2 years, a lot of people have come up to me and asked, what's it take to get a podcast going? I want to start a podcast. I see what you guys are doing. Can you share? And so I wanted Jacob just to talk a little bit about if somebody wanted to start a podcast tomorrow on some topic they're passionate about, how would you recommend they get started, whether it's equipment or technology or platforms to use? Like what's the quickest way to get them up and running?
Sure. I would probably say you can set it up using Zoom. Or like there's other services. I think like it's called like Riverside is a really popular service right now. But the idea of doing something physical, like in person is always better, just conversationally. Things feel better, but like a really good start would be just try to start a conversation using like Zoom and just talking to people online, and you can chop that up pretty easily, and I would say that's probably the best first start.
Okay.
But nothing beats face to face.
Right. And when you say chop it up easily, what type of editing software do you recommend? Because, you know, people, you can get really complicated and pricey on editing software, or you can try to use new AI stuff. What would you recommend?
Well, I think those services like Riverside is that like they'll chop it up for you. Like all you have to do is kind of trim the edges and things like that. But I mean, you can't go wrong with like a Mac comes installed with iMovie. That's really simple. So that's a free option.
What was the gadget that you had where you could record yourself and then input it directly onto?
Oh yeah. There's some new. I do this with a podcast. In Austin. It's like the Von Canel group of Austin. It's really crazy. It's called Ascension Realty. It just imagine you guys, but you live in Texas. It's really funny. And we do a remote thing where they just hit record on a monitor and then it gets sent to like over the cloud over to me, and then we chop things up.
All right. So
there's lots of options.
Right. Or you can reach out to us and we'll put you in contact with Jacob.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, no. But all right. Well,
anything else, Dave? Should we give G a seat back?
Do you have a real estate question for us?
Yeah, you have a real estate question for us?
Ooh.
I always love a good buy versus rent. I think those are juicy.
A buy versus rent.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather?
Those are the best.
Relate
Or debate. Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
relate or debate.
It rhymes.
These are easier question, unlike relate or debate over there.
They're not questions. It's
Would
a
you rather
statement.
relate or debate?
It's a statement, not a
all right.
question.
I have a question.
We've moved past
Yes.
that.
Cream
Your
puff
house. You can, that you currently live in,
Cambrian.
you can buy it for $1.2 million at a 3% interest rate, or you can rent it for $3,000. What would you like to do?
I mean, if you can get a 3% interest rate, of course I would buy it.
So if you knew...
That sounds juicy.
Okay, so it's a two-part question. If you knew what you know now, would you have bought a house when interest rates were 3%?
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, right?
It's pretty crazy, huh?
That's relatable. Debatable. It depends on how
I
much
always
money you
thought
have
you-
at the time.
I
But
always-
1.3 for
I said
Cambrian?
1.2.
Oh, 1.2?
3%. What's that roughly?
would it have been
1.2, 10% down, 3%.
Yeah, so you're 500 for 100,000, so 5,000 at 3%. You're about $5,000 a month for your mortgage and about $1,500 a month for taxes and insurance. So $6,500 a month,
You would pay $6,500 for your house.
But you got the appreciation.
and the tax benefit,
Yeah.
and locked in a low rate for 30
I think
years.
that's great. I think you still need to be able to afford it. I mean, that's still
Well,
double the payment, but still, if you can afford it, I think that's great.
But that's a hypothetical because that time has passed.
I know. I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
Let's talk about today,
Hit him with something.
I wouldn't do it today.
right? Same house wouldn't do it today because rates are at 6.5.
Pay $3,100 for a 4-bed, and
Yeah, so you pay $3,100.
Yeah.
Your mortgage would be 10 or 11,000 a month,
Oh.
plus another 1,500 a month for taxes and insurance.
yeah, you're really just banking on the fact that you're going to live there over 10 years, and you can refinance later, and then you're fine.
Do you want to buy a house here?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I love San Jose, but I also I'm not glued to it.
When you travel quite a bit too, right, for work. And
Yeah,
stuff,
exactly.
I mean,
I don't know. Do you want to buy a house? Your house is
Aaron
pretty
will
nice.
never
man.
buy a house.
He'll talk
buy
about it.
houses and I sell houses.
That seems like a lot of taxes.
I paid my taxes.
and
Relate or debate.
He did pay a lot of taxes.
Relate or debate.
You know what, though? I will say, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but Aaron's strategy is actually not a bad one. It's taken me a little while to warm up to it, but I also agree.
Wow.
And obviously, you guys are a lot younger than me, but being your age, I wouldn't necessarily be in a hurry to buy a home when you can rent the same home for a half or less of what you would pay in mortgage. And like Aaron said, if it gives you an opportunity to buy some investment properties or invest in other things, buy and flip houses, why not? Right?
It's all about the discipline of it though. If you if the reason that homeowners make more are statistically more well off than renters is because the renters don't invest the difference.
Exactly.
Right. But if you take the difference of what you're renting for and put that in the stock market, you will be probably better off. But you have to be very disciplined to do that, because if it's not a forced savings account like a mortgage is.
Right.
So
No, absolutely. But I've seen, like, there's actually a podcast I follow. I don't know if I'll say their names. Very popular fitness podcast. They're local guys. One of the guys on the podcast did the exact same thing. I was actually helping him look for a primary residence, really nice estate style home, and they backed away from that. And then he and the guys in the group started buying rental and Airbnb properties in places they wanted to go, like Salt Lake and Tahoe. And now they have these great properties, sprinkled throughout. I'm not sure what their footprint is, but I know at least West Coast. And they've got some great properties that they're going to have income producing, and they get to use for their own benefit for years to come, and opted to still get the style of home that he wanted, but for half the payment monthly.
I think that's awesome, especially with the way that like a lot of the US like housing prices are starting to drop a bit in some of these areas. Like if you can swoop up a good like Airbnb property like in those, then it doubles as like you can have fun there if you wanted to, but it also can be an investment. I think that's cool.
And that's something we should think about as a group going forward is, where do we want to pool our money and maybe buy something, whether it's Tahoe or Salt Lake or some destination spots,
I like
right?
the Tahoe market.
Yeah. And
especially the Nevada side.
You're going there, right?
I know. I'm renting that house for $18,000 for 4 nights. And I mean,
it's nice.
I know, but it was a four.
That's not relatable.
I know, but it was a $4 million house.
We have to bleep that out. That's very unrelatable.
But think about, even at a $4 million purchase price, they're still going to be making money on that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I agree. So
I missed out on a property in Tahoe at 1.6. It was so if this is the water,
like
this is lakefront. It was right here.
Nice.
1 over. And 1.6 with 3 structures on it, and a house 3 doors down just came on the market for $8 million.
That's tough.
And in hindsight, I should have offered 1.7.
Yeah.
And it's just sat there forever.
All right. Thank you. G, sorry we,
Hey,
G,
made
I'm
you move.
sorry, man.
Agree or debate? Wait, what is it?
Agree or
Agree
He
or
doesn't even remember now.
relate or debate.
Oh, relate or debate? I didn't like your questions.
They're not questions.
Oh.
It is a statement that you either
We might
agree
have to
with
just
or
cut the whole
debate
segment.
it.
You know?
Yeah.
No, we got good answers
Did
after.
you like those
he
questions
simply
as
thought
our
through
editor?
it.
Honestly, I was on my phone.
Yeah, I think this was the best part of the podcast today. So I think
Unbelievable.
Yeah, seriously. That's crazy, man.
We should have
Do you have anything
wrestling
more
match on
about
the next
Introland?
podcast.
What? I did that, and David snapped my glasses. Have you used our new product,
let's
Introland?
save that because we're running late.
Oh.
Let's save that for the next podcast. We're going
Yeah.
to talk about RE Mortgage Advisors and the Intraland app. Until next time, guys.
All right.
See ya.
Later. Boom.
Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo, the house is on the market already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface I looked calm and ready to drop bombs. Then I bought all of them, and Buck Jeep didn't know what to do with them.